Corbin. And Corbin does not like the sound of fireworks. So in this video, I'm going to show you the secret on how to help a dog get over actually thunderstorms, excuse me, not fireworks, but the same principle works for fireworks. Now, Corbin is coming and sniffing me, and before we get into it too much, he's kind of told me he doesn't want me to pet him. When I go to hold my hand out, he turns away and doesn't look at it. And that's a cutoff signal. That's a dog's way of saying, no, I'm cool with you not touching me. Now, I have a treat pouch right there, and he likes the treat, so he's going for them. But we naturally think I should pet you to make you feel comfortable. For his family members, that's different. They love him, and he loves them, and he loves that contact. But because I'm not petting him, now he feels comfortable enough to come up and sniff me, and kind of, you see his body language looks nice and calm. Okay, so fireworks, I keep on saying fireworks, but thunderstorms are harder for dogs than fireworks in some capacities and easier in others. So it's a little bit easier for dogs because there is a warning. There is a barometric pressure change. They can smell that the storm is going to come. But there's this big crashing sound that the dog doesn't understand, and it's preceded by the lightning. Now what we've got is we're going to do a little counter-conditioning and desensitization. Counter-conditioning is basically, well, desensitization is the first part of the process. Desensitization is the same thing as if you live next door to an airport. After a while, you don't hear the airport any longer. And so that's a good principle that you can use, but we want to use also counter-conditioning. Counter-conditioning is pairing an unpleasant experience with a positive experience. But here's the secret. The key is he can't be scared. Most people, when they're doing this technique, they practice until what I call practice to failure. They practice till the dog freaks out. That's too much. All the practice has to be what we call below threshold, before his maximum limit, so that he can actually not be freaked out and can be practicing around something. All right, Corbin, come here, buddy. There we go. Now we got a little bit of better tail wag. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a control. I'm going to have him put him in it down, and then our friend with the recording, she's going to play a sound of thunderstorms. Whoops. Let me try to get him into a down first, though, because when we were doing this before, he did something noteworthy. Okay, go ahead and start playing him. See that ear went back? Now this is just the sound of rain, and we heard it before. He got up and moved away. Let's see if we can find another one, a thunderstorm or thunder sounds. So what we're going to do, and I was talking about this off camera, I can equate how comfortable a dog is by how many moves it takes them to go into a run. If I'm standing, that's 0 moves, I go straight into a run. If I'm sitting, that's 1 move, laying down 2 moves, laying down what he is right now, side saddle, he'd have to right his hips and move away. So he's telling me he's somewhat comfortable, but he's facing towards me. So he's not completely comfortable with me, but he's somewhat comfortable. All right, so let's see now. Go ahead. We'll just go ahead and if our tech support person found, as soon as you find one, just go ahead and start playing it. So I'm going to keep on talking while she finds it. Give her some time to find a good one. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to play the sound of thunderstorms, and we're going to play it at a low enough level where he doesn't freak out, and I'm going to give him a treat. And are you ready? Let's go ahead and try one. Can you turn your phone around so the speaker's facing this way? Now, the fidelity of a phone is different than the fidelity of an actual thunderstorm. And he's just more interested in the treat, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and keep it going and turn it up as loud as I can. Now, for this one, because this is not loud enough to cause a response, that's great, but we want it to be somewhat realistic, so we might play it through a boom speaker. Now, what we could do is play the sound, and I'm just feeding him treats the whole time the sound is playing. Or if we want to do it one at a time, we could have, I'm laughing because she's showing the screen, but he's not looking. But we could have this, like a thunder, and then I give him a treat. And a thunder, and I give him a treat. So we're making the thunder, this is through classical conditioning. The thunder clap means I'm about to get a treat. But we turn the volume of it low enough where it doesn't startle him. If he's sitting or laying down and he gets up, that's his indication this is starting to be too much. Most people don't realize it until they're just whining, crying, barking, shredding, or these other behaviors. We pushed way too far. So since this, and I would probably get like maybe one thunderstorm, one thunder and a break, and it's fine, I put her on the spot. But basically, I would play it through your boom speaker. We have the A person, I'm not going to say her name because I don't want you to just chime in, but you just say, hey, play that. So what you can do is play this while the dog is eating their food. If the dog stops eating their food, that's your indication you're playing it too loud. we want to start off, and I do the same thing for fireworks, playing the sound at a high enough level where the dog can hear it. Yes. And then, but he continues taking treats or he'll eat food. And then basically, maybe this is volume level 5. Then the next time we do it, we go to volume level 6. Next time we do it, 7. Eventually, we're going to the Alexa speaker. Eventually, it sounds like there's actual fireworks or thunderstorms in your house, but there's no barometric pressure. So we're isolating one of the elements to make it easier for the dog to practice. And eventually, we get to the point where it's, it sounds like an actual thunderstorm, and your dog is not worried or concerned about it at all. Now, this is a process that takes time, so I would practice maybe 1 to 3. Well, if you're doing it for meals, how long does it take him normally to eat his meal? Like 2 minutes? Let him eat his meal while you're playing the sound, and each meal, put a little chart so everybody knows to make it a little bit louder each time. Now, there's also other elements that are going on when it rains. It becomes more humid. So what we might do is also start boiling water, and I know Mom has done this, but I would boil water and get it going about 10 minutes before, so we're adding basically humidity to the air while now we're having the sound of the thunderstorm. But I would do the thunderstorm sound first. Now you've already done the humidifier and that. You can use the humidifier as well as boiling water. But eventually now we're having all those things together. Now last thing is the flash, but I'm guessing it's more the sound is what he doesn't like. He has a problem with it, right?
It seems like all of the things, the barometric pressure, the wind, the flash, the boom, I think all of it together. Usually what happens is, literally on the first crack or the first sign that there's a storm, he's already from like a 0 to a 9.
Yep, exactly.
And then once there's a crack or a boom, it's a 10.
Then it's over.
Over the top, but we can't bring him down.
So when that's the case, we want to have individual elements. So we have the element of the sound of the thunderstorm. We have the humidifier or the bubbling, and that's now we're adding that to the air. Now you have trees that probably hit your house. One of the things you might do is go out when it is storming, put a raincoat on, and go out and point your camera and your microphone up there and let it hit the house and recreate the sounds in your house that you hear. Then you can play the sound of those branches hitting the house at its own element. So we do these all individually, which makes them easier. The dog in bite-sized pieces, essentially. Now, when dogs do have that looks comfortable, buddy, so I'm going to shift off my knees. Now, when dogs do have a fear, it manifests in a treat that you can stop the thunderstorm sounds now. Yes, in different ways. So there could be, some dogs will bark, some dogs will lose control of their bladder, some dogs will pace, some dogs will go and hide, some dogs will shred things. Some people take this personally. The dog was so mad he went and peed in my living room. He shredded my shoes. When these things happen, your dog's in a panic state. They are not able to think clearly. And so just like if I'm in a panic state that 23 spiders fell on my head, I'm going to freak out until I see 23 spiders. And even then, I'm going to probably need 23 showers before I feel comfortable. And every dog is okay. So it's important, although it's frustrating when your dog chews stuff up or barks or pees or whatever, if you were so scared that you peed your pants, you would never, your friends would never, well, your good friends would probably make fun of you a lot, but most people would not ever mention that because you were aghast. It was overwhelming for you. And if we get even if we're just mad, dogs are very sensitive. They'll understand that and they'll feel that. So you want to avoid doing that. Are you out of here? Sorry, I trapped her to shoot a long video. So basically what we want to do is if your dog has any of those behaviors, let them do that. Some of the things that have not worked for Corbin here are playing white noise. Now if you're going to play music, classical and reggae music and easy listening music are the best. We do not want to use talk, especially news radio, because that makes them more anxious. No jazz. Classical, like I said, and reggae are kind of nice. The soothing rhythms of music can be helpful for dogs. Moving them away from the exterior into a basement or a place where it's far away and you're playing those masking sounds can help. There is the thunder chirp, and I think we've tried all these things with Corbin. These are not working. That's why we're going to go with the treatment method I've already outlined. But for some dogs that don't have as much, and you can use these other things and they can help. Mom asked about CBD oil. I'm not a big fan of CBD oil because there's really no peer-reviewed studies. We don't know for sure, but you can get it at high-end pet stores like Long Dog, Fat Cat, or The Green Spot. You might try it, put a little bit on their food and see if it helps. Also giving dogs things to chew a shred or a lick can be helpful. They release oxytocin and serotonin, which are the feel-good hormones. And so, yeah, we have a little lick mat right here. So now if you're going to use this, I would use this first by putting peanut butter or cream cheese or frozen yogurt on it when there's no storm going on. So that he gets to just to sit here and lick it off there, and he's releasing those feel-good endorphins. Good job, buddy. And while there's no storm. But then when there's a storm happens, if he's licking and releasing those feel-good endorphins, it's not going to fix the problem, but it can kind of take a little bit of that edge off. And if there's like 10 little things that we do, that might turn out to be a big difference. There you go, buddy. And so thunder shirt, the thunder vest, a lot of people like to use. If you don't have one, you can swaddle your dog like we do with human babies with a tight blanket. That constriction helps them feel a little bit more relaxed. Getting them a box or filled with, I put paper in there. Sometimes you have well, it's not ready yet, but we have toilet paper tubes. Save those tubes. Take a piece of this is Enrichment, but basically just take a piece of paper, put paper towel, put a piece of kibble on it or a treat, crumple it up, put another piece in, crumple it up, crumple it up, crumple. So there's like 5 or 6 pieces of kibble in this, stuff in the paper towel tube, put a piece or 2 of kibble or treats in between, and repeat that for 5 or 6 of these. Then your dog sits here, he has to pull them out, unpull them all to get those treats. You're giving him something to do. He's focused on that as opposed to the storm. And again, shredding can be a behavior that can help dogs relieve some anxiety. A Kong filled with peanut butter, a bone with peanut butter or something inside of it. So anything that they can lick or chew. So you might get yourself a bully stick, a collagen stick, a cow kneecap. I just got my dogs some turkey necks and they really liked them. But a bully stick is going to take longer for your dog to chew on. So if the storm comes and your dog's chewing, they're releasing that feel-good endorphin, which can help counter the signs of anxiety or the stress. So Corbin,
come here, buddy.
he's like, this David guy talks way too much, and so I'm going to go away. If your dog does have signs of stress, let him out. Now, if you have a puppy, let them kind of do what they're going to do. Now, one thing that you can do, as long as it doesn't, not overly fearful for your dog, is you can take your dog out for a walk in the storm. Now, Corbin, it's too much for him. But if you have a dog that's a mild, or if it's a puppy, taking your dog out for a storm and have a treat. Every time that there's a thunderstorm, give them a treat. And the motion helps them get over it. Now, for Corbin, will he eat during the storms?
No.
Have you tried like freeze-dried beef liver?
No.
Freeze-dried beef liver is such a high-value treat. It can give them pancreatitis. So it's not an everyday treat, but it is a very nutrient-rich treat. So I like getting Stewart's freeze-dried beef liver, and I take a serrated edge and I chop them into little pea-sized bits. So if you can find something that he will eat, and when it comes to food, the temperature of the food is more important than the taste. So warm food is better. So get some pieces of roast beef and chop them up into little pieces if that's what'll work. Thunderstorm, treat. You want to find a treat that he'll eat. So what we're doing is he hears the thunderstorm and then he gets treats immediately after. That makes the thunder clap what we call a precedent. The thunder clap happens, it's like, you owe me a treat now. Where's my treat? You know I need a treat. And after a while, they look forward to getting that treat. Sorry, I'll stop talking here in a sec. And you put it on your knee if that's more comfortable. And after a while, the thunderstorm is no longer a negative. We've created what we call a positive emotional response. All right, so in conclusion, doing this counter-conditioning stuff works better. If you're going to do it for the 4th of July, you really need to do it a month before and gradually raise that volume. Now, we're about to be done with the storms. A lot of people are like, oh, we're done with storms, I can stop. Practicing when you don't need it is the best time to practice. So I would just start practicing this and just get different thunderstorms, because thunderstorms are not the same. So I'd get the recording of the branches hitting outside, the different thunderstorms, and start playing this every time he gets a meal. And if you do this every time, and it's maybe not till the fall again, till there's another storm, by the time the next storm comes in, he's become desensitized and counter-conditioned. Corbin. He's trying to use the Jedi mind trick to get me to come over and give those treats to him. But I'm just going to wait for him to come over.
He doesn't want to get
up.
up.
One more, we'll put it a little bit closer to give you a little incentive. It's like, you guys are crazy. I'm not going to go over there.
I'm almost 9.
There we go.
Corbin, you can stand up, buddy.
Corbin. There you go. All right. Well, this is my buddy Corbin, and these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that's afraid of thunderstorms or fireworks.